Good morning, everybody from Cologne, Germany. We are here for the second day of the Intel Extreme Masters. We started yesterday with the open brackets. Today is the real deal as we go into the main part of the tournament, group stages. We'll be covering Group A and B. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Joining me on the desk is, of course, the infamous, notorious PIG, and, of course, Rotterdam 08, the #1 Twitch streamer for StarCraft 2. Are your mics on, boys? Can I just, you would double check that?
Testing.
Because I'm not sure they are. This might just be mine.
Yeah.
It's the big red button on the bottom. And then we'll really begin. Would you like some help?
Testing.
Alrighty, Sean. That should be
there's Roddy. Roddy's back. Are you back?
Yeah, I think I am.
Microphones are on.
Oh.
Good morning, boys. I know it's a little bit early here in Cologne, Germany, but we have a lot of awesome games to come.
Solid start is all that matters.
Solid start. We're the best at opening up days like this. So let's take a look at the 5-day schedule as we finished with with the open brackets yesterday, as mentioned. And today is the start of epicness as we go into groups A and B with the 2 tournament favorites in there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Tomorrow is group C and D before the weekend, where all the fun is going to happen as we go to the playoffs, the quarterfinals on Saturday, and then the semis and grand finals as we make our way to Gamescom itself to play on the main Intel Extreme Masters stage, taking 4 players and 7 commentators with us to go broadcast the final parts of the tournament.
It's a rough industry, Sean.
I know, 7 versus 4, not very fair there. If you include
They would
Funker,
probably still beat us in a free-for-all. That's the worst part.
yeah, it doesn't matter how. Well, I don't know. We do have Pig and Moonglade pumping us back up, and of course the #1 Twitch streamer. We may stand a chance.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
unfortunately, me and Clara's pulling you down. Sorry, boys.
Just 6-pull someone. Just go all out on Sue or something.
We all 6-pull at the same time. We might be able to win.
Just like a double 6-pull would be hard to defeat, I guess.
Yes,
Well,
it
maybe
would.
a wall-off is a wall-off. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe that's not the
Yeah,
best.
I think it's a little bit map dependent.
Yeah, maybe like just 14 speed Bane. Like that's probably a better idea.
Yeah, I think six people baneling
We
busting.
can cheese
We could
out the top
probably
4
do
of this
it.
tournament, man. No problems.
And that is also the only way we will ever beat them at StarCraft.
Yeah, because if we try anything else, we are dead. Moving on to talking a little bit about groups A and groups B, or C and D actually, because we have 16 players now, and we didn't have them yesterday because we had the open bracket players that came through, which is Heromarine into Group A, Ret into Group B, Euthermal C, and Tilo and Patience Group D. And that is the full scope of the groups. A and B are the delicious groups because these are tough, these are difficult, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Group C and Group D, a little bit softer of the 2 groups, but will be played out tomorrow. Rotterdam?
But what I like about Group C and D is as well that I feel that every one of those players is looking at that group and be like, I can actually make it out of this group. And that makes it very interesting for us as well because it becomes very hard to predict. Now, Group A is, of course, going to be awesome. And what I'm particularly excited about is that we recently had the Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen. It was a pretty awesome tournament for us. I think we saw a lot of great StarCraft, but it was very, very Protoss heavy. So if you were not a Protoss, you may have been looking at a tournament like, well, Classic, Parting, Hero, Rain, like, yeah, it's awesome, guys, but, what about my favorite players? Well, here you go. Sue for the Zergs, Innovation for the Terrans. MMA makes a reappearance. It's been a while, I think, since he played in the Intel Extreme Masters, so it's looking good.
It's a good set of players here. Who's your favorite looking at those groups? Is it Sue or the obvious one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just such a Sue fanboy, and it's really cool when you have one of those players you look up to and you copy his builds, and they have a bit of a slump or so, and then they start coming back on fire this year. He's been destroying Korea. Now we get to see him over here in Germany, and I think he's got a good chance at kind of sneaking this title away and showing us some just kind of commanding, overpowering Zerg play. Like, Sue's just this scary, almost mythical creature, I think. So I'm just excited to see what he brings.
Sue in a slump is like second place GSL. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Sue should have won many a tournament. Let's be honest there.
He was a little out of shape, all those back-to-back second places. Like, come on, man, just win a GSL already.
Yeah, here is Sue, of course. Returns to Europe for the first time in just about a year. I think the last time he played was a DreamHack last September. I was looking at it a little bit earlier on.
Runner-up.
Runner-up again, still in that slump. But he did turn it around, of course, recently, picking up a first victory, which was that Casper Cup just a couple of weeks back.
And he's so proud of it. Look at him rocking
He's like,
that
I finally
pin.
won a tournament. God,
He's like,
yes.
put it on my shirt and never wash it again, never take it off. The pin is mine and only mine.
And he comes into this tournament because of that, with the kind of the outlook of being the favorite, along with innovation. But I think Sue over innovation is the favorite of this tournament.
You know, recently there was another tournament in Korea, and I kind of forgot the name of it. There was an online tournament for like $3,000, but it was one of the most stacked tournaments I've ever seen in my life. Pretty much every single good player in Korea played in it. Sue won.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine if Sue was able to just go on a wrecking ball rampage of winning every single tournament he enters after that Kesper Cup win.
Oh,
he needs it if he wants to play at BlizzCon, if you think of it that way.
Yeah, it's the kind of last end of the track the next couple of months leading into BlizzCon. But Innovation, definitely another player out there who we're kind of looking as the other top favorite there. Both of them are right at the very top of the world in terms of their Ligulac ratings. And in the past, we've seen Innovation deny Sue a title. So that's like a big match, which I think we're hoping to see maybe in a couple of days' time.
Well, we are going into Group A, of course. Group A, Innovation will be playing later in Group B, but Group A consisting of Sue, Happy, MMA, and Heromarine here. And Heromarine, unfortunately, seems to be the guy, like a lamb to the slaughter almost, some will say, because it is Sue at the end of the day. And Heromarine, he's not bad at StarCraft, obviously, but this is Sue. This is Sue, an absolutely incredible StarCraft player. Heromarine has started to rise into the top ends of the European scene, has been on top of the German scene, but this is a very different beast to tackle.
It's very hard, and if I'm Heromarine, I'm thinking like, how do I want to approach this series? On one hand, you can be like, everyone's going to tell you, don't go for the long macro game, you know, it's Sue, don't do that. On the other hand, this is like a unique opportunity where you could win a legendary game that people will refer to years from now on, or you could try to do something cheeky and cheese him, but then if it fails, you're going to hate yourself for it. It's like, oh man, I played against Sue on the big stage, had to go for that stupid build. Why did I go for that stupid build? I don't even like that build, you know? So it's like, I have no idea what's going through his mind, but I am very curious about his approach to the series.
Yeah, I mean, how do you play against Sue? I mean, talk to us a little bit about Sue's strengths and potentially weaknesses, Pig. I know you've followed this guy for a very, very long time. You know inside and out. Give us a bit of information.
Sue's such a tricky player to play against, especially as a Terran. I think he'd be a nightmare because if you look at his recent games, he's very, very on top of not really letting the Terran get any momentum in the game. He's been a big fan of opening up pool first, trying to sneak Zerglings around the map to put on counter pressure and just kind of deflecting early Reapers with Queens. But not only that, he's doing a lot of rushes to Mutalisks, really trying to get that map control, do these really multitasking intensive styles where he can be harassing with the Mutalisks, spreading creep constantly. And it's that situation where if he gets there, this is Sue. It's such a mechanical style where he's going to be able to exert the speed at which he plays, and we were watching him before, and it is scary. He's one of the fastest players I've ever seen.
So, I mean, when you look at it that way, how the hell does Heromarine tackle that type of play? Because Heromarine, in his games, usually against Zerg, especially in the European scene, kind of plays a regular, standard, macro-oriented game, but that suggests to us that he's going to run into the beast that is Sue, and isn't he going to be in trouble?
I mean, I think he is in trouble. Like, we can spin this any way we want, but even a couple of solid victories that Heromarine recently had, like yesterday against Ply, and then his WCS match against Red, like, he wasn't really dominating those games. Like, in like the Red, he won the series 3-1, but I will keep saying this, I kind of feel that the score should have been 3-1 in favor of Red. Like, he had 2 games pretty much in the pocket, and just, you know, by the skin of his teeth, he somehow pulled out victory, and that's awesome, but that's not really, you know, the momentum that you want to take into a series against Sue. I really have no idea. I would say one very aggressive opening, and if it doesn't work, then just, you know, enjoy the macro game and see if somehow you can get a great engagement, maybe a couple great Widowmine hits, and from there on you can get some sick confidence. I really don't know.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a bit of a David versus Goliath story here as Heromarine tries to take on you know, the Kesper Cup champion in recent times too. This isn't like a Kesper Cup champion from a long time ago. This is very recent. And Sue has been in slumps, as you've mentioned, the second place slumps, but he's climbed back up to the top right now. The funny thing with Sue though, sorry, Roddy, if you want to...
Just 1 sec. I think it says a lot about Sue's mentality, because how many times haven't we seen players do well in a GSL and then 2 seasons in a row and they still didn't win it, and then they just fall off. This guy got 4 second places in a row, just kept on going, and right now perhaps looks even stronger than he's ever been. Like, holy hell, what kind of a mindset do you have then, man? He must be so strong.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of a drop-off at the start of the year. There was a few months, but to have such a long string of good performances, and then usually after that, it's like a full year before you see a player pop back up. But with Sue, if we look at, he's got one of the best win records. I think it actually is the best win ratio in Pro League right now, something like 15 wins and 4 losses. He's just been smashing all the leagues, taking out Dark and Kesper Cup recently. I think he's he's on form right now, and ZVT is one of his better matchups.
Yeah, and looking at it too, Su came through the qualifiers to be here. He didn't come through the open bracket. He didn't get invited. He smashed through the qualifiers, which we know in the Industry Masters. I don't think there is a more difficult qualifier in the world for any StarCraft 2 tournament to go through the Korean qualifier, then into the Asian qualifier, which is basically another qualifier for Koreans again. And he managed to come through. And right now, he's not here for fun. This isn't a leisure trip. He didn't come through customs and the German border saying, no, I'm here for a bit of pleasure. No, this is complete business. And when you look at his overall picture here, he's outside the top 16 in the WCS rankings. He comes in at rank 30, which is very low for a type of player that he is. And this type of tournament is exactly what's going to boost him back up into the top 16.
Yeah, he needs that win. He wants to get those points. And Su, I think last year was actually looking to be one of the favored players. We thought, he hasn't quite clinched a GSL championship, but he's one of the favorites for BlizzCon. And he went out very early, I believe, in the round of 16. So he's got to have that kind of monkey on his shoulder saying, you know what, I think I can do it. And he's having a late run for those BlizzCon points. But if he can get a win here, suddenly that boosts him right up there.
I mean, just think back to Deer in 2013, late run, hello, and joined the BlizzCon crew. Thank you very much for your insight. The players are just about ready. If you fancy yourself a bit of a dibble-dabble into the fantasy leagues, make sure to go to esl.gg/ SC2 Fantasy, early morning, and see if you can compete with us, because we think we know who's going to win in this one, and I think you guys do at home as well. Let's take it to the commentary team for the first match of day 2.
All right, thanks very much, boys at the desk. We are getting into our first series of the day, first series of the group stage. What a way to open things up for me. David and Goliath, basically.
Absolutely. It doesn't get better than this. It's so exciting to see Su, finally out and about again in an international tournament. And yeah, he's in form this time. It's going to be so fun to see how he's going to play this match.
Yeah, and for Heromarine going onto a stage like this is basically, when I look at this game, it's like the most important, or at least the most stacked opponent he's ever played against.
Absolutely. It's pretty easy to say that for sure. I mean, this guy, he's done so much already. Like last year, he had a whirlwind of a year, getting second place 5 times, never finding that win. But finding this win in Korea already this year, he won that Kesper Cup. He beat all the great players. And now he gets another chance at the international stage, looking for that big Premier win.
All right, we're going to get into it. Game number 1 here, about to begin between Su and Heromarine. The last time Heromarine took on players of this caliber, it was right here back in Cologne in 2014 when he played against Classic and Innovation. Didn't take a map. Can he do different here? Down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Terran representing Team Mouse Sports. It is Heromarine.
Did get to see a bit of his Terran versus zerg yesterday. Didn't look too shabby against this kind of player, though. I'm not sure.
Because up to the top left, he's quite the nemesis. He is in the red, representing SK Telecom T1. It is Su. One of the fastest players on the planet right now.
I was actually quite surprised when I got to sit behind him and see his mechanics for the first time. I was really taken back. I'm like, I thought you would be a little bit slower. He looks like a little bit older than most of the players. Like he's kind of gives that, for me, that Nest T vibe. So I'm like, you probably take things a little slower.
Yeah.
But no, it's exactly the opposite. And he's like one of the fastest by far. And
yes.
And it really shows in his mechanics. Like he is some of the most flawless macro mechanics. He loves to take it to the late game and play those very heavy duty, sort of like many bases, huge armies. He's so good at it. It's just about getting there, which is the problem, and it can be a dangerous thing against Terran.
Yeah, I remember the first time I ever saw him playing, actually, and I thought that the video was edited. I actually thought that the video was edited because it was moving. His hands were moving so fast, or especially his left hand, of course, moving so fast. I was so kind of bowled over by how fast this guy does play. And it's not like when you see the screen as well, his actions aren't just like mindless spam. They actually mean something. And it's like, it boggles my mind how someone can play that fast. And then on the other side, Heromarine here, he has been rising up through the ranks. He has been doing well for himself. And we saw that kind of progression through the open bracket yesterday where it was Germany national, international player, Korean player, and now he goes up against someone like Su, which truly is a final boss in my mind for Heromarine.
Yeah, he truly is. He's the greatest test he's going to have in this tournament, possibly. Like, this guy is just in such form right now. It's kind of hard to how would he think about approaching this kind of player? Because he is so strong mechanically, he has great defense throughout the game. I do think Heromarine will probably have to put on the pressure early, look for the early aggression, because if you let Su do what Su does best, and that's just get into a greedy macro game, like, it's going to get pretty messy pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. So do you expect some, like, really early aggression out of Heromarine? I mean, we saw, if you cast your mind back to his Challenger series versus Rhett,
Yeah.
especially on this map in particular, he was happy to take it to the late game.
That's right.
And just kind of be a little bit slow about decisive engagements. So is Heromarine really going to go down that path against Su here?
Well, it might be his best bet. You know, as a player, I wouldn't blame him either. Like, what I would love to do back in the day is really test my skill. You know, have that macro game against one of these Korean giants and see how I match up against them. So it looks like at this point he will sort of lean towards that. You know, going for that early command center and going to a later factory, just playing that early macro game. And for Su, I mean, he's got a very early lair on the way already.
Su's in a rush, apparently.
Yeah, he wants to get something out in a big way, and it's going to be interesting to see because that is a very quick lair.
Yeah, wasn't expecting to see that. That's before Zergling Speed or anything began, correct? So that was his first gas, going straight into that. And Su here is just going to be positioning his overlords towards this position and down towards the bottom, so you can see if anything does leave, or he can poke in at the edges and see if anything is on spot. But he already sees the wall.
Yeah, he sees the wall. He kind of knows what's going on. And this is like the sickest Muta rush ever. Like, he is literally, he's adding 2 more extractors now. And yeah, he's essentially just going straight into Mutas from here. And it's such a great build against what we see from Heromarine, who's going for that fast command center.
Well, there's that 4th gas going down just to confirm everything, basically, as a few lings will trickle out onto the field, but that's really not the end of this, because as these Mutalisks end up popping, when the Spire goes down, there we go, Su here, and he's even putting it in the middle, so a scan is less likely to hit this if it's to come along.
Man, this is like one of the fastest Muta rushes you could ever have. The tricky part is going to be stopping these Hellions getting in. If Heromarine decides to be just a little bit aggressive, maybe try and run by, he's going to have a very easy time doing so, because there's only 2 queens to stop it and a couple of lings that are slow. So unless we see like some SimCity be built up so the queens can block, these Hellions are going to get in.
And they don't want to overextend too much here, the Hellions, because he doesn't really know what is behind all of this. I mean, for all he knows, there could be a full wall somewhere with a Roach Warren or anything, because he's just playing with no information here as Heromarine.
Yeah, he's kind of just like, okay, I've seen the front, you got 2 queens, you got some creep spread. This looks like a 2-base Muta. He doesn't know that it's a 2-base Muta that skipped Ling speed for the longest time, and Mutas are about to start making. He's got 4 Hellions now, and he's coming forward, so maybe he'll look for something, but these queens are in position right now.
Drops the scamp, playing a little bit patiently, out of range of that Spire, as all he sees is this double gas. But seeing this double gas and lack of third, is that almost a confirmation here? Or do you have to assume that maybe he didn't take the gases in his main base?
It certainly is it's kind of like a confirmation that it should be Mutas from this point. It's definitely Mutas, but it's about when are these Mutas coming. Like the timer, the natural timer for Terrans would be a little bit later than this in a kind of a big way. He's like, okay, I got to make sure everything's in place. I'm getting my barracks up and running. I got to put down turrets at this time. But it's gonna come a lot earlier than he'd ever expect.
That's a good point. So that being said, throws himself down a missile turret here in the mineral line over towards the natural. So he is reading into this very, very well as Heromarine, considering the fact that Su was ever so quickly going in this direction. Yeah,
as quick as possible. But yeah, great timing on these turrets. He's gonna deflect this fairly easily, minimize the damage in a big way.
Yeah, that's basically test 1. Sort of solved here for Heromarine. You know, he didn't have much information. He gathered just enough to be able to fend this off and make sure he didn't take too much damage. But obviously, Su is going to present far more problems. And even getting those Hellions is a great pickup there for Su.
Yeah, you know, having all your units on one huck, he's not going to help out against Muta harassment like that. So he does kind of give up map control in a way. Like, he doesn't have Hellions on the map to deny creep or to see if any units are going to be coming onto the map in terms of a lot of speedlings. Maybe Su would go for a timing behind this. Su, on the other hand, though, he's going for the upgrades. He's getting a much later Bailing Nest, and he's kind of just droning up the third from here now that he has that map control, now that he can kind of dictate how the game goes from here.
Mutalis's just going to swing on back and just really covering his base at this point. I mean, of course, all these missile turrets going down here across these 2 bases is quite a costly investment, while on the other side, Su is just playing his own game completely. He's flying away with this.
Yeah, he's in control for now, but let's see what he can do from here. You know, he's going for that third base. He's actually adding a lot of extra turrets as well, which I kind of appreciate. And we are seeing more and more mutas be added. And it's going to get to a point where mutas can actually take down a turret if he's not paying attention. So having a couple of extra ones will help out. But Heromarine, he's taking it slow. He's not too far behind supply just yet. He's keeping the economy kind of even right now. Su hasn't started a fourth base yet, which is also an important thing to note at this point.
Just going to swing on around towards third base. That's plenty of Marines to fend that off, though. But big story is going to be once that Bane list comes into action and once Su's macro really kicks off. How many drones is he on at the moment? He's on 71 drones across those 3 bases, taking a fourth, getting his creep spread set up, getting that pushed out into the middle of the map. And the further that does encroach over towards Heromarine, while he's being contained here, because he doesn't really have much access to cleaning it up, it does get a little bit scary here for Heromarine.
Oh, it certainly does. This is exactly where Su wants to be at this point. He's like, okay, you know, I'm in complete control of this game.
Yeah.
I have all the creep spread I'll ever want. It hasn't been touched in the slightest. Maybe up until this point when we do actually see the Marines move out, but he's had all the time in the world to get to that perfect drone count, and he has all the lings. He's morphin Banes now, and upgrades are finishing on time.
Well, this is where Heromarine really starts to assert himself, or tries to here. As there's 40 Marines at the moment on the field, going up against quite a few Banelings, though.
Yeah.
He's going to have really good pre-splits, never mind actual splits.
Yeah, he's going to have godly splits, and he's kind of needs some AoE with this if he wants to try and fight this. And currently, it's nothing but Marines, and they're getting caught out.
Yeah, they don't have medevacs here with them either, actually. All of this is going to be killed off pretty fast unless he gets back to some kind of defensive position. But Su is on the hunt. I'm not sure how he's really going to be able to deal with this. He kills off the medevac in the sky. And this is almost going to be a massacre. Heromarine is desperately scrambling to find some kind of safety net here, but there is none. There's none at all.
No, they're essentially trading bases, as we see in the top right there. A drop is going to work on the fourth base, but the economy at the third is getting destroyed. Maybe even the command center at this point. Mutas are going to try and work on it while these Marines wait for it to fly over. And it should be safe, but still critical damage to Heromarine at this point.
Yeah. Difficult start here for Heromarine. Not too bad a Widowmine connection, but the Banelings still filter through. There is one with left of Widowmine, but he separates some of those units off, kills that off. And Su takes a significant supply lead here to start things.
Yeah, essentially double the supply at this point. He's really destroying the production as well. You know, that extra factory was going to be for some mines, but not anymore. And from here, he's got to retake that fourth base, fix the creep spread, and just maintain this pressure. It's going to be so hard for Heromarine to find a way back in.
I really commend, you know, what you were saying before. You know, you want to test your mettle against someone like Su here in this first game. Heromarine is clearly trying to do that, definitely, but at the moment, he is getting a little bit run over. No one's denying that. Su is in full control and command of this game, and Heromarine has got to look for... How does he manage his drops?
Drops will help. Drops is certainly one way to kind of, you know, displace the Zerg army, force them back, at least force half of it back to deal with it while, you know, you retake that third base, get the economy up and running again, but Su's not going to have any of it.
No, he's just going to plow on in once again with the steamroller here as these Banelings continue to move on the left towards the right as well here. And even shutting down the medevacs once again, keeping that count down of medevacs makes it all the harder here for Heromarine to stage some kind of comeback. He is going to drop into the main base. Lings are going to filter on back there. He already killed off a queen. Second one's probably going to fall as well. Good little bits of damage done for Heromarine, but if he can't hold on with the defense, he's going to have no base to go back to.
That's right, and that third CC did go down this time. This drop's going to hold on for a little while longer, but that's a lot of army coming back, and these mutas are just going to have a pretty fun time in the natural there. It's quite an impressive count at this point. Sitting at around 15.
Oh, and even contamination on the factory as well, slowing down Widowmine production, which, to be honest, is exactly what he would need. Some AoE damage, some good, like, hits onto the Mutalisk, anything. Slowing down a lot of Banelings, but Su is just kind of slowly and intravenously picking away at that small production facility that Heromarine has.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Heromarine decided to move out and deal with the creep with no sort of Widowmines on the map at that point with the army. But here we go again. Another ugly engagement.
Only one Widowmine to speak of there to try and deal with that. And all the Marines die off. GG, game number 1 goes to Su. And he shows us why he is one of the best in the world in that first game. But Heromarine held on for a while.
He held on, you know, he wanted that macro game. He certainly got it. We'll have to see what he's got planned for game 2.
Yeah. I mean, technically, he could go into game number 2 and test his kind of stamina, his fortitude once again against that, because you know, as the lesser skilled player, not to sell Heromarine short here,
sure.
That you are going to be really up against it. It's going to be a rough time, but you want to prove it to yourself. You want to buckle down and do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world, too, if he loses this series. Give it your best against this Korean player, and you can work from the lower bracket, at the end of all things.
All right, well, we're going to go to a short commercial break here, guys, and when we are back, it's going to be game number 2 between Heromarine and Sue. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters here for our first series of the day. Heromarine goes up against Sue. It's a tall task, Moonglade, not like us, we're a bit short.
We are pretty short, Galeris.
Aside from that, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, it's ruined the illusion now. It's whatever.
Sue, looking amazingly powerful.
Yeah, he's looking godly. As expected, he's been doing fantastic work in career for the last few months now. And coming over here, he just won Kesper Cup as well in career. So why not try your luck again against the foreigners? See if he can win that tournament this time around.
Try your luck.
See what he can do against
Sue.
See what he can do against the likes of Heromarine. And so far, he's looking pretty good.
Pretty good, mate. Pretty sporty.
Pretty spot on, in my opinion.
Pretty damn good. All right, well, let's get into it. Game number 2 here for Sue versus Heromarine. Heromarine has landed himself in quite the group. And Sue now looking on point. Down to the bottom right, it is our blue Terran. Representing Team Mouse Sports, it is Heromarine.
Getting a taste of the macro of a Korean god in game 1.
Scary stuff. And up to the top left-hand corner, we do have our red Zerg representing SK Telecom T1. It is Sue.
Getting a taste of a foreign Terran in game 1. That's me. No.
Yummy foreign tears.
It's I like the taste. I think I'll come back again.
I'll keep killing them all.
Delicious.
Yeah, he's a scary fella. He is a scary fella. It's no secret that a lot of people here in this tournament are looking to Sue and Innovation as the big, clear favorites.
They're the big dogs. They're the guys that are looking to take this tournament out. And they're not invincible. They can be taken down if done just right. I think Sue's weakness will be some sort of delicious cheese, whether it be a proxy or something that really throw him off, because you cannot leave him alone. You can't leave him alone. We saw it last game. Don't leave him alone. No. You gotta hurt him somehow. You gotta stop him from just macroing.
You gotta steal his lunch money.
Steal his lunch money. Get him tired.
Try. Yeah. Just bully him a little bit, poke him a little bit, do what you can, So Heromarine, on the other hand, in this series, I looked up a little bit of the numberage behind it all. Not sure that's even a word.
I like it.
A word, but we can use it.
I make words up all the time.
The numberage.
Numberage.
And it sounds like a house in England.
It does.
Hello, welcome to Numberage.
Please enjoy your stay.
He is 11-32. In best of 3s against Koreans, which it's not exactly the best position for Heromarine. The thing is that Heromarine right now is on the road to prove himself on the international stage, be it with mostly non-Koreans in WCS, having just qualified for Premier. So someone like Sue is quite the step up there from that kind of numberage in the old house of Aligulakshire. And in the end, it's going to be still a tall order. Let's see, though, what he's going to bring to the table, because in the previous game, the macro didn't really work on out.
No, it certainly did not. And, this time around, he's going to be at least a little bit more aggressive, going for multiple Reapers. He's going to be able to apply the pressure, work on the Queens, and maybe he can find a way in. I mean, let's be real. Last game, Sue did take a chance with being this greedy with, how he got to Mutalisks. He foregoed the link speed. If those 4 Hellions just happened to run by, happened to run into the natural domain base, he could have cooked a lot of drones very easily. But it's always that mind game. It's that uncertainty. Do you want to actually risk it? And he wasn't willing to risk it. Risk it for the biscuit.
Oh, you stole the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's delicious.
We're on the same wavelength. I love it. All right, well, Lings are just going to have to fend on back and just dance for a little bit. At least Heromarine is getting a Ling or 2, which is a nice start to these Reapers. Obviously, would love more with this 3 Reaper opener. That's why we're going to see the harassment into the Queens come down.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for that Queen damage, regenerate, wait for the 3rd, come back for a little bit more. See if he can take it out.
So that third one will be joining up very soon. He's got his overlords already in positions to eventually like poke on in, see what's what. He already sees the command center, so he gets a really good indication as to what build this is. After seeing the third Reaper at the front eventually as well, he knows 100% what is going on.
Yeah, he certainly does. These Lings, you know, oh, they actually get a perfect surround. Very nicely done. So 3 Reapers are going to get into the main and cause havoc. And 2 Queens at the natural should be able to deflect them fairly easily. So they're going to start working on the weak one.
Alright, and just backing off with these. Good little micro, little bit of dibble-dabble in, like Sean said before.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier. Dibble-dabble. He's having a little bit of a dibble-dabble with the Reapers. As he goes into Hellions, from there he's going to dibble-dabble with a bit of Starport, possibly Banshees.
We have too many native English speakers here in this event, so you're getting all these glimpses into random native English butchering of language.
Yeah, I wish, you know, the one Australian that really indulges in that sort of language is Maynard as well. He's got all sorts of sayings that only I hear when he speaks. You know, I'm just like, oh, that exists. I've forgotten everything at this point.
Maynard's an interesting one. Throw a shrimp on the bourbon, for example. That's something that he likes.
Oh yeah,
it's a bit weird. I questioned it last time, but
that's interesting. Yeah. Why not? And look at that, Cloak Banshee going to be the follow-up here. So I do like that he's really mixing it up this time around. He's going to be a lot more aggressive, going to try and deny this creep spread and maybe work on a queen or two. Once again, and there's no transfuse this time if he really wants to commit to it.
Those Lings are actually threatening for the counter over down towards the bottom to try and see if they can do anything at the front. It's very difficult, though, to time this out with the Hellions. He saw the Hellions come out with the Overlord towards the natural, and he's going to maybe poke up, but there's already Hellions left behind.
Yeah, look at this, a big scout in the main.
Ooh.
It's actually only 3 gases at the moment as well. Just wants to invest in one more, so, you know, gets that spire a little bit easier.
Sneaky, sneaky Lings. He keeps seeing these Hellions moving on out, and he doesn't want to go in just yet, poke around. Now he will finally try and do something at that wall, but the Reaper does die off at the front after doing something there.
Oh, Lings just came a little bit too late. He should be able to keep this bunker alive. He needs one more SCV.
Yeah, one more. Whoa. That's... Oh my god.
Things that shouldn't happen, but did.
Yeah.
A couple of Marines should help out when the SCVs start fighting as well. It's not the end of the world, but losing a little too much there.
There needs to be a little poster for that. Just unhappy Terran things. Because that was...
That's it.
If I had just pulled one more SCV.
Yeah, if I wasn't that greedy, but... Not too much damage, 3 SCVs. This is where it's really going to happen. He's going to look for the damage, but so many queens already out.
Yeah, that is a lot of queens. And he's even getting some defensive pain links here as well, just to make sure that he is going to be well and truly fortified. These Banshees, is there only one? Or is there 2? There's usually 2. There we go. So the second one's on the way over. But they're going to have no room to really do anything against that many queens.
No, certainly not. Those queens have so many transfuses at this point as well. He's going to come in, maybe try and snipe the main queen, but if it's sitting next to the spore, you ain't going to find that.
That's true. That is true. Oh, gets himself a drone, but that's the wrong direction to be taken. No.
Oh, on point. On point with the transfuses.
Yeah. It's not like there was even creep between those 2 bases, so those queens didn't actually get up there too quickly, and they're just like, I guess we'll just waddle our way to victory. That was well done. Good job, queens. Now he has such a creep humor.
Queen's pushing back. The soft contain these Hellion Banshees had. I mean, trying to deny creep where they can, but it's just there's not much you can do at this point. Su stabilized on 3 base. Damage hasn't really been done, but it did give Heromarine a lot of time to get up this production, and he's looking good. It's looking like he's planning to stay on 2 base for just a little while longer as well.
Siege tank. Ooh. Siege tank on the way.
Siege tank.
Wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you.
Cheeky devil. That's interesting. Yeah, usually you'd see wouldn't mind sort of follow up here. Siege tank's a lot less common in this matchup, unless you're fighting against, you know, Roach Hydra or something.
I mean, what do you make of it? Is this like off the premise of maybe he doesn't feel as confident with Widowmine play against someone like Su? Because you would usually look to that for splash damage, right?
Yeah, certainly so. I guess it's more of like a player preference, a player stylistic sort of choice. I feel like at this point they're far less effective. But maybe he's got a way he wants to engage, a direction he wants to push, which is going to favor tank play. There's a lot of interesting places you can put it, as Fug is kind of showing, like around there's like little ridges and stuff you can put it on. But if there's a clean engagement from Su, it's just going to dominate it.
I do recall, I think he used a 2 tank mid-game push against Rhett in WCS Challenger, which was quite interesting. And it looks like it's going to be the similar one here. He's got extra tanks following this up. At least he'll push back these Mutalisks to start things. And maybe try and start encroaching on the middle of the map here, but
oh man,
I guess the watchtower here is kind of a linchpin, right? If you've got control of that with this slow siege tank push forward, it could be quite strong.
Look at that supply block as well from Sue. He's sitting at a lot of money. He's got 5 overlords queued up. He's only finishing now, but it looks like he'll have enough anyway to fight this army.
Yeah, maybe. The wave of Terran's quite strong here, though. Those 2 siege tanks at the back were doing a lot. Heromarine here is pushing onto this location quite strongly, and there's still a lot of lings in production behind this. If these 2 siege tanks get set up in time, he could be okay.
Yeah, he might actually claim this 4th base. Sue, you know, getting that supply block, but he's going to try.
That's a bit too far forwards with that second siege tank, though, as that's going to plummet very, very fast. Second one's going to go down as well. That only leaves Marines. I think he overextended just a little bit there.
Just a little bit too far onto the creep. Maybe should have stayed at the edge, stayed below the ramp so with his tanks so he could shell Banelings and Lings before they get to them.
Yeah.
Got a little carried away, thought he had it in his pocket, but just that 6 supply block from Sue, kind of misleading everyone.
Yeah, in the end, that big wave of Zerglings and Banelings extra being able to flood on forwards means that Heromarine now is once again in a bit of a dire spot, to the point where actually he could get chased back onto his production if he's not careful. There's 10 Marines on the way at any given time here, but the Lings are cleaning up these Marines just slowly as they're trickling out of this base, rallying forwards units. Here it is Sue. He's chasing back towards the wall as well. The bunker is probably going to end up going down, and this is a great little chase back from Sue.
Oh, this is just doing so much. Now Banelings are in here. They can just go straight to the mineral line if they want to, or just clean up every Marine.
And he's on the top of the tank as well. Again, if he loses these expensive units like tanks with these extra reinforcements coming along, Sue is going to be able to clean up house. It's not a case of rolling the dice for Sue. It's the case of just, well, those dice are loaded, my friend. He is always going to land on 6s.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 4 base versus 2 base at this point. This is a very aggressive 2 base build from Heromarine, but still not even enough units to kind of hold back the counter attack from Sue at this point. And
so strong.
Yeah, he could sit back. He's nearly triple the supply from here. He just has to remax, build up a Baneling, and try one more time to try and end this game.
Tough stuff. Tough stuff here for Heromarine. He's going to have to try and hold on against the next wave of Banelings and Lings that's going to have to be morphed in. And not sure he really has too many units. How many units do we even have to try and hold this off? 18 Marines. Not even 1 siege tank count yet. It's just about to pop.
And he's going for a drop, Galeris. Desperate plays from a desperate man, but is it going to really be justified when Lings, Banes, and Mutas crash through the front?
Don't think so. Don't think so. I mean, the Queens, he had a lot back at home that could probably just kind of clean up quite a bit of that. Still 7 there. Could even morph in some defensive Banelings if he needs them. But he's looking to just go on the assault. Plenty of units to crash on through once again. 2-2's finished up against only 1-1 here for Heromarine. The siege tank falls at the front. And this is going to be absolute destruction here for Heromarine in this first series.
Yeah, rough start for Heromarine. He's got that double drop going up top, but nothing's going to stop that army.
There you go, GG. Game number 1, or series number 1, I should say, goes to Sue after dismantling there of Heromarine. Heromarine obviously coming in as a big underdog there. And Sue showing why he is one of the most feared Zergs in the entire planet.
That's right. He's definitely one of the best right now. He's finally come back to that state where, you know, he was last year, where he was getting to the finals all the time, getting the wins, and yeah, he's looking on point this tournament. I'm so excited, Galeris.
Oh, it's gonna be a good tournament, Moonglade. Oh, it's gonna be a good tournament.
Loving it.
With the likes of Sue here, looking to just power on through. Heromarine obviously not down and out just yet. He will have another shot here in Group A to keep himself alive, and maybe going up against somebody else in his group, like Happy, for example. We'll see how that goes down.
Might, you know, slow things down. You know.
Yeah.
Have a bit of a, you know, more. Or second chance, I guess. That's how I could really say it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for us here at the Caster's Desk. We can go over to the Analysis Desk to hear some words from our winner.
Thank you very much, Colaris. Great start to the morning. And another player who's had a great start to the morning is, of course, Sue. Congratulations on the first victory of the day. Nice and easy there. James, I want to jump right into this. This group is easy, I'm thinking, for him. The bracket, probably going to be easy. Is he just looking at this tournament as a first place only type of tournament?
자, 어윤수 선수 이번 조 처음에 추첨되고 어제 이제 저녁에 조 추첨되고 누가 조에 조인했는지 봤을 때 솔직히 좀 쉽다라는 생각 하지 않으셨나요? 그리고 오늘 상대도 2대 0으로 아주 깔끔하게 승리를 하고 올라오셨는데 아마 한 1등 정도 예상하고 계시고 있죠 지금?
처음 아이디어 들어봐서 이제 좀 쉽다고 생각했는데 생각보다 잘하셔가지고 좀 놀랐어요.
생각보다 쉬웠어요.
생각보다 어려웠어요.
So I've actually never heard this ID in my career, Heromarine. So I've had absolutely no idea what I was going into. So I thought it was going to be easy, but then right before the match, I got slightly nervous, and I actually got surprised during the game because he played a lot better than I expected him to be.
Big.
All right. I also wanted to ask, I mean, we've been watching a lot of Sue's play in Korea as well, lots of fast Mutalisk rushes. In that first game, it just seemed like such a good build, just rushing straight to those Mutas. I just wanted to say, is it something he feels is a little bit of a risk rushing up there? Is it something he just loves getting control with the Mutalisks? Because lately I feel like in ZVT, he's just taking control and giving the Terran no opportunity to be the one pressuring.
어윤 선수 요새 저태전 많이 보면은 주로 좀 패스트 뮤타 쪽으로 빌드 가닥을 많이 잡는 것 같은데 그게 아무래도 어윤 선수가 생각하시기에는 테란을 상대를 할 때 좀 맵 컨트롤이라든지 이런 거를 좀 하는 게 좀 좋다고 생각을 하셔서 이런 걸 하는지 아니면 또 그에 따른 뭐 리스크 좀 위험한 거는 뭐가 있는지 좀 설명 좀 해주세요 빌드에 대해서.
사실 저는 이제 빠른 뮤탈이나 이제 그냥 업을 위주로 하는 3회 처리 운영도 둘 다 좋아하는데 테란들이 이제 빠른 뮤탈을 까다로워하더라고요. 그래서 까다로워하는 거를 열심히 연습해보고 있는 중이에요.
숙소에서 누가 제일 까다로워하던가요?
이신이요?
So over the course of practices at SKT Telecom Team House, I've noticed that a lot of Terrans struggled against fast mutas. I personally, my favorite go-to build is the 3 hatchery, upgrade-based zerg macro game. But I realized that a lot of Terrans are struggling. So I asked, who was struggling the most? And he said innovation actually struggles with it the most.
So let's look outside of this tournament for a quick second. One question on this. WCS Global Finals at BlizzCon's coming up. It's only a few months away. Sue's quite low ranked at the moment, ranked 30. Is this something that he's planning on playing at? He played there last year, didn't quite do as well as he wanted to. He needs to perform really, really well. Is this a goal for him to play at BlizzCon?
자, 작년 블리즈콘 급하 가셨을 때 아쉽게도 관광을 하게 되셨었는데 이번엔 지금 포인트 랭킹만 봤을 때는 30위에 있거든요. 이번 멀죠 좀 가기가. 그럼 아무래도 급하를 가려면은 여기서 좀 우승은 하셔야 될 것 같은데 지금 그거를 염두에 두고 경기를 하고 계시는지요?
사실 블리즈컨에 관심이 없었는데 이번에 캐스파컵 우승하면서 좀 희망을 봤거든요. 그래서 원래 IEM도 좀 관광하러 왔는데 희망을 이어가기 위해서 우승하도록 하겠습니다.
Earlier this year and up to, a couple months ago, I had absolutely zero hope for BlizzCon. But as you guys can see, this spanking, blinking badge, this actually shined me some light to maybe there's a chance. And originally when I qualified for IEM Gamescom, I had one thing in mind, which was travel, leisure. But because of this, I have something to live up to now, the standards. So I'm a little more focused into the business right now.
Okay, here's a question that I think everyone would like to know the answer to this. So many second places, it was always second place. How good did it really feel to win Kesper Cup when you lifted the trophy?
뭐 이거 딱히 통역이 필요 없을 것 같은데 자, 콩 준우승 계속 하시다가 자, 우승을 했었을 때 어떤 기분이 좀 드셨나요?
사실 이 질문에 대답 많이 했었는데 일단 되게 게임이 준우승 할 때마다 하고 싶지 않았는데 이제 게임하고 우승 한번 하고 나니까 모든 게 다 이제 환하게 보이고 다 긍정적으로 보이고 준우승했던 것도 다 추억이었던 것 같고 이제 게임 할 맛이 나는 것 같아요.
I'm sure nobody in this world is satisfied with runner-up position. Every time into the finals and came so close yet short. I had doubts like, is this the path that I really want to walk in? Not the runner-up finishes, but the StarCraft itself in general. So I had a little doubts about my career in the past couple times. But after winning Kespa Cup, actually I got to answer this question a lot, and it actually made me look back at all those runner-up finishes, and there's a bit of an optimistic memory to keep I actually like looking back at all the runner-up position that led to this, or the badge, as you guys can see on the screen, that I'm a little more motivated now, actually, and having more fun at playing the game, less stressed.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much, Sue, for that. One final thing before we let him go and go to a quick break is Pig here, James and Sue, has played many a pro gamer in rock, paper, scissors. A lot of pro gamers. He's never lost a game before. So if Sue doesn't want to do it now, that's fine. But later today, perhaps, if he wins the winners match, let's do it the winners match. If he wins the winners match, will he play Pig in a best of 3 up here, rock, paper, scissors?
제가 보면 이제
Never
피그
lost.
선수였었는데 이제는 해설로 전향을 했었는데 지금까지 뭐 게임에서는 그렇게 다른 선수를 이긴 적이 그렇게 많지 않을 수도 있겠지만 다른 선수를 가위바위보를 했을 때 한 번도 진 적이 없는 심리전의 고수거든요. 승자전을 진출하고 나면은 어디 한번 이 승리를 계속하고 있는 거에 좀 흠집을 내게 가위바위보로 도전을 한번 하실 생각이 있으신지요?
저 좋죠.
Okay, good, good. So you go play some Zerg vs. Zergs and warm up, and
We'll get ready for this.
you get ready for this. Thank you very much, Sue. Thank you very much, James. We're going to be going to our next match, which of course is going to be that winners match when we come back. But before that, do make sure to check out plays.tv for all the action that you may have missed yesterday in the open bracket, and make sure to bookmark it because there's going to be a lot of more StarCraft content on there coming up.